Hello, this is the last video, the last week of Sociology 207. It's been some time since we spoke via video, and that in and of itself is my fault, and my greatest apologies to everyone. I do believe we had a good semester. We started with the question of, how we provide health care in the United States. And if we do have the best healthcare system in the world, that's what the politicians tell us at least, and the medical establishment. And the primary goal for the entire semester, from my perspective, was to shed some light on that statement, to create a little bit of doubt, to expose students to information that maybe they had not seen before, or had, but really never had a chance to talk about with each other. And I believe that by and large, we achieved that particular goal as best we could. I do want to thank you for your patience and your willingness to work with me this semester based on my last minute addition of duties for the college. And this was the first time that Sociology 207 has been taught at WCC. And I'm really happy with the feedback that folks have provided me, and the quality of work, and the willingness of the majority of you to take part in meaningful conversations about this topic. This is one of those topics that impacts each and every one of us and our families, and will, if not already, and I'm willing to bet it's already impacted all of us, past tense, and will impact us future tense. And you can better take care of your family and your loved ones and yourself when you engage in the medical establishment, if you know as much as you can, not only about the illnesses and chronic illnesses, acute illnesses your family members may have, but about the system at large as well. Never be afraid to speak up and as a medical services consumer, and ask for second opinions, ask for explanations, and don't be afraid to be an advocate for yourself and for your family. We know for a fact, based on modern research, that patients with advocates who can act on their behalf, who can ask questions, and ask for and require and expect high levels of care, receive higher than average levels of care if those expectations and settings are set. So don't believe that your voice doesn't matter. It is a big and scary system. It's a system that we all have to depend on, that works miracles every single day for individuals and families in need, but at the same time is so complex and costly that we have almost created this cycle that we cannot sustain. I've attempted to try to, at least as much as I could, keep my direct opinions out of the mix, although on some of these topics it's been hard, in an effort not to unduly influence yours. And one of my goals was to show you as many sides of the perspective as we could, so you can make your own decisions, and that you can feel confident in investigating information for the future, and you will know where to look. So I hope and pray that I was able to achieve that goal. Do I have a preferred, based on the final discussion board post, do I have a preferred possible healthcare system that might work in the United States better than what we have today? I'm really not sure I can say that I do. The Japanese model interests me greatly. the British model is, although on paper looks positive, um, is having difficulty sustaining itself. Um, the French and German models um, that require greater governmental control is certainly advantageous. I visited Germany and the United Kingdom 2 years ago and had a chance to talk with a significant number of students and individuals in Germany when I visited multiple universities. And healthcare issues, crisis, and how to obtain healthcare never came up, not one time. Um, and there was this sense of security that um, society was going to, the population was going to address the issues of healthcare together as one. And that was somewhat impressive to me. Um, I'm extremely thankful for the system we have. My mother passed away 2 years ago, coming up on May 6th, and spent the last 7 months of her life in and out of the hospital, from ICUs to being unconscious to life support, run the gamut. And she received excellent care. But I also see the care that she received prior to becoming chronically ill that was really below average, and created, I firmly believe, some of the issues that I blame her death on lack of preventative care and lack of high quality care when she was first diagnosed. The care she received at the end of her life, I want to believe, and I do believe, was high quality. But I often ask, would she still be with us if she had received such high quality care in the years prior to 2013? We will never know, but many of us have those same questions when we think about younger or older family members, community members who have struggled to stay healthy or access care or have passed. And sometimes when those circumstances happen, we have nothing but questions. I do believe that healthcare is a right. I believe that the United States can find a way, that we are exceptional in many ways, and that we can find a method that covers everyone in a cost-efficient way. Would that be adopting the model of some other country? I don't think so. Would that be adopting the current system? No. The current system cannot sustain itself. It is falling apart. Is Obamacare or the ACA the solution? No. It didn't go far enough. Is the ACA or Obamacare the start of something? Yes. It's the biggest seed we've been able to plant in the soil for 80 years. It's the best shot we have. If we don't take advantage of this one and make improvements, we may lose it again. And I don't think we have another 80 years to figure it out. If we look at the current research, the Affordable Care Act is finally beginning to gain traction in the American population. It is beginning to gain traction in Appalachia in terms of acceptance of the population, because people are beginning to see there are some positives, but there are many negatives. But the solution is, will not primarily come from our elected officials. It'll come from the citizens. It'll come from the citizens and communities who finally say that we're tired of subsidizing healthcare for profit-driven companies. And we're tired of the waste and political arrangements on the federal and state levels. The reason this state does not have a healthcare exchange is because of politics, based on the Affordable Care Act. The ACA gave all states the right to create a healthcare exchange to manage insurance companies and deliver those policies to individuals who were eligible for subsidies or care under the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. This state chose not to join to create a state healthcare exchange, which in turn, we know nationally, the states that did not create their local exchange and provide their citizens with the maximum number of insurance opportunities, the cost in those states, especially in rural states with few doctors, such as Southwest Virginia, were dramatically higher than states who created their own exchange based on the ACA. So basically what our politicians told us is, we don't care if your health care costs are greater than a state next to us, for example, Kentucky. It's meaningless because we're going to create a political circumstance where we want to drive up the cost of health care and insurance to make a political statement, to make the populace question and discredit the ACA. Again, the ACA is imperfect. It's extremely problematic. But it may be the best shot we have. And our politicians should figure out that our health is much more important than political wins, or putting a flag in the sand and saying that one party is better than another. We're losing what makes this nation special. And healthcare is one of those things that everyone deserves and should not be based on income, should not be based on whether or not you have a job, and should not be based on if your job is 29 hours a week as opposed to 32 hours a week. Someone who works for 32 hours a week has a right to receive insurance or health care, but someone who works 29 hours a week does not. It makes no sense at all. As a state employee, I'm covered under the state health plan, and my entire family is covered. There's 4 of us, my wife and myself and 2 kids. We pay a pretty good rate, to be honest. It's less than $2,000 a year in premiums, but the college pays $19,000 a year for the 4 of us. So when you combine my contribution and the college contribution, it's over $20,000 for healthcare. And I would submit to say many of your employers face the same challenge. That's why employers cannot afford, especially small employers, cannot afford to cover families or their employees anymore. It's just not cost effective. That's an example of that cost that's cannot be sustained by the employer or by the individual. We must control cost of healthcare services, and that will take governmental intervention, without a doubt. There's no other choice. Again, I hope you have learned something, and that you will continue to investigate this topic. I have had just a great pleasure in reading your papers and your discussion board posts, and thank you so much for willing to share your thoughts and opinions and concerns on a topic that sometimes is not easy to discuss. But it's important that we do, because if we can't discuss this frankly and directly, how can our elected leaders discuss it? And they will not. Lesson number 12 is due April the 30th. Don't forget. The reflective paper, your interview with an older person about their perception of healthcare, is due May 1st. It's extremely important that we keep these due dates. I'm going to have a very small window of opportunity to review the material and submit grades. And submissions made after the due date will not be accepted. I just will not have time. In the meantime, please let me know if you have questions or concerns, things I can help with, clarify, if you see grading issues and so forth, and I'll do what I can to help. Thank you.